every day something which is other than your school book. Maybe it's a spiritual book, whether it's a knowledge book, general knowledge book, or you've come across a nice article to read, read. Even if it's one page of reading, get into a habit of reading.
My home library, and this is my favorite book. These are my achievements in marathons and community runs. I like to participate in chess tournaments. I love collecting coins and sharpeners. I enjoy playing cricket.
Dancing or listening to songs whenever I'm feeling bored or low are some of the things which make me feel moody and happy. I even love doing various social welfare works. I have been a part of the Rotary Club of my school, and through various events of that club, I try to help and serve people and create a change in the society regarding various social issues.
Talk about self-development and spirituality on YouTube. I'm passionate towards writing, and this is why I have written an ebook. I love to read different types of books on spirituality and self-development, like the Monkus Eldest Ferrari. I love to practice yoga, and as well as doing affirmation and gratitude prayer.
I usually spend my leisure time reading books and playing badminton. Along with this, I like to watch thriller and science fiction movies, but the hobby which I enjoyed the most is painting. Here are some of the paintings that I painted. I had also taken part in various Olympiads like NSO, IMO and National Hindi Olympiad.
My hobbies are reading books, drawing and painting, and playing sports. My favorite sport is badminton, in which I have won several competitions. I also play basketball. Occasionally, I also do marathon runs.
Hello, my hobbies are reading books of English and Sanskrit. Included this, I win an Olympiad medal, silver in English Olympiad. My hobbies are also include paintings, and I love to painting a lot and dancing.
My favorite book is Sita, Warrior of Mithila by Amish Tripathi. It is a very interesting book, and I was fascinated by the way in which the author has brought all the characters of Ramayana in this single book. Sita's character is very inspiring. Her childhood life, her desire and aspirations all are described in this single book. So I suggest all of you to read this book at least once.
My favorite book is Black Hole by Stephen Hawking. It is give BBC Rate lecture. It is said that fact is sometimes true, that is stranger than fiction. And now here is that more true than in the case of black hole. Black hole are stranger than anything dreamed up by science fiction writer. In 2016, Stephen Hawking gave the BBC Rate lectures. Thank you.
The Journey Home is my favorite book. It's an autobiography of Radhanath Swami. In this book, he has traveled all the way from Europe to India in seek of spiritual knowledge with bare minimum money. He has faced and suffered a lot of hardships. In the end, he was successful in discovering the spiritual world.
My favorite book is The Theory of Everything, written by Stephen Hawking. This book deals with the theoretical cosmology. Through this book, he has given 7 lectures covering everything from Big Bang to black holes to string theory that capture not only the brilliance of Stephen Hawking's mind but also his characteristic wit. I advise you all to must read this book in order to gain your knowledge about cosmology. Thank you.
My favorite book is Creed. This book is written by Angela Duckworth. That hard work is more important than talent. As a psychologist, she did a lot of experiments and researches with adults and as well as with kids just to understand that is that applicable to everyone, and in the conclusion she understood that it is applicable to everyone and talent can be beaten by hard work and talent can be developed.
My favorite book name is The Top 5 Regrets of Man. It is a book written by Brownie Ware. She used to work as a nurse in a hospital taking care of patients who were taking their last breath. During conversation with them, she found out that all of them had some regret. This book tells that we should prioritize ourselves. We should say no when we want. We should spend time with our family and friends.
Very nice.
Yes, Jai Dharima to all of you. Jai Dharima
Very
बोलना
nice. Jai Dharima.
बच्चों आप सबके आराध्य को नमो 10 सेकेंड 5 सेकेंड जरा just do your namo and then we start the program. Just say a little prayer. Thank them.
Thank you.
जी
Thank you for the Almighty, which has enabled us to come together. Thank you, God. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Goddess. Thank you.
जी हमारी ऑडियंसेस का स्वागत है. आइए जुड़िए. देखिए ये वीडियोस जो आपने देखे, हमारे बच्चे कितने सोच रहे हैं, विचार कर रहे हैं. There's so much of depth in them. कितनी बड़ी-बड़ी गहरी-गहरी किताबें पढ़ी हैं आप लोगों ने. खुश रहो, कीप ग्रोइंग, कीप इवॉल्विंग. मम्मी, बच्चे पहले आपसे बात करेंगे. दे विल इंट्रोड्यूस देमसेल्व्स टू यू. उसके बाद देन वी विल डू अनसंग हीरोज. जी
Okay, go ahead, Vinay. Tell us what has come this far. What's your lesson of life? No, Vinay, you've already introduced yourselves. What's your lesson of life at the moment? What is your feeling? What is life for you? What is the lesson of life? I've seen your books. Brilliant. I've seen your
Yes.
activities. Good. Tell me what's your lesson of life as a young man by now, as a teenager.
My lesson of life is not to give up. I realize that we should never ever give up in our life. There are certain situations in our lives where we thought that we should give up, but we should try till I succeed because the results are amazing. Like I myself afraid of public speaking. I participate in various competition so that I can remove that fear and can speak confidently in front of audience. That's I
Excellent.
think.
You can all clap for him. Lovely lesson. At this age, if you learn, if you got your lesson, never giving up, I think go a long way in making you a strong person you want to be. Right. Ridhya, what's your lesson in life from Pune? Ridhya, I've seen the books you
My
wrote. I'm aware of your extracurricular. You've done a great display. Tell me, Ridhya, what's your lesson of life so far?
Ma'am, first of all, I'd like to thank you for letting me in the show. My lesson of life is that we should learn from our mistakes. If we have done something wrong, we shouldn't repeat them again and again. Instead, we can learn and do something new. Like you can do if like last time if you have done something wrong, the next time you can change it and try doing it the way you want it to be.
Excellent. Let's all clap for her. That's the second. Vinay says never give up. Hriday says keep learning from your mistakes so that you can improve upon on a regular basis. Right, Hriday? From Pune? Right.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Lavish Deep. Okay, what's your message from my town, Amritsar?
Yes, ma'am. So my message is that we should always be brave, confident, and should never feel shy about anything. And we should never keep on just grieving about if we have done any mistake or we have done something bad in our life. We should just not keep on grieving about something. For example, like if our exam doesn't go well, so by grieving and by worrying about that, it will not make us feel better, it will worsen our situation. So I think should that we should be more confident and should not grieve about anything continuously. Thank you.
Lovely. Lavish, automatically when you're all saying, I'm going to come back to as a second round to you on certain questions you are raising. But very good. So you say to be brief, not feel shy, but be confident. Am I right,
Yes, ma'am.
Lavish? Good.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
let's go to the next one. Munmun, what's your lesson, young woman from West Bengal?
Ma'am, for me, life is about having a growth mindset. It's not about having a survival mentality where people are like just live the life somehow. But for me, it is like following the saying of B.K. Sanger, where he says, "Live happily and die majestically." And I think that having that growth mindset where I always need to grow every day, learning something new and having that growth mindset. and dying majestically.
My God. You're a young lady. You're only 14. So you keep growing. But you're already talking of thinking of dying majestically. My God, Munmun, what makes you say so?
Ma'am, I think this is because I am following people like you, who is Dr. Kiran Bedi, ma'am. I think this is what makes me do all these things because I follow you, ma'am. You are my inspiration, and I think this is like I learned all these things from you.
So, my child, you are saying, keep growing. You've just begun your life. Good. Keep growing. Well, one day we all have to reach our end sooner or later. But I like that. I like your learning is keep growing. Keep learning. That's what you
Yeah,
mean,
ma'am.
Munmun? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
ma'am.
Let's go to Aryan. Okay. Thank you. Aryan from Dubai. Aryan,
Yes,
what's your
ma'am. I'm
lesson of
really
life
pleased to meet you,
from
ma'am.
Dubai also? You're very
I'm really
talented.
pleased to
I've seen
meet you,
your
ma'am.
talent. Thank you,
Yes,
Aryan.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me what's your lesson from Dubai?
I feel that you have to believe in yourself, trust your abilities. Because if you believe in yourself, you can do the impossible. You have to forget your past, work on your present so that you'll get a desired future outcomes. Yes, ma'am.
And that's why you do so many activities. You do so many extracurricular, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You keep trusting your ability.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is it all the activities you're doing, were they school generated or were they your generated or home generated or self generated?
Ma'am, these activities I have done for myself only, ma'am, not for any award or not for school purpose. I like to do them, that's why I'm continuing. Now, example, you can take my collection of coins and sharpeners. You won't find people collecting sharpeners and all. So I think this is a unique ability in me.
How did it come? How did you
And my
acquire
cousin
this?
used to collect magnets, ma'am, fridge magnets. So I thought I should also connect something really unique. So I saw that uniqueness in sharpeners, ma'am, because you have sharpeners of different size, shape, color, and they are all really fascinating, ma'am. So I thought collecting sharpeners is something unique. So I started collecting sharpeners, ma'am.
Lovely. So anybody needing a sharpener can send an air message to Aryan and ask to get a sharpener. Right? 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 If we mail you,
Yes, ma'am,
Aryan,
I'm ready
would
to
you
help them.
share a sharpener? You would share a sharpener?
Yes, ma'am, of course. I'll share. Don't worry.
Lovely. Okay, Dia from Bharatpur. What's your lesson?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my lesson is takes inspiration from many ideas and don't shy in front of your audience. I like to dance in on stage also, and I participate in many events of my school also. I looked at many girls were shy in front of audience and cannot speak, and also nervous, like don't speak, don't like to speak. But my lesson is that he don't shy and don't nervous in front of your audience, and do speak fluently you want whenever you want.
Superb. So here is the summing up of what all you said. Aryan said, trust your ability and your uniqueness. Dia said, uh, uh, take inspiration constantly, evolve, keep growing, and take inspiration. Divya says, learn from your mistakes. Lavishdeep says, be brave, not feel shy, be confident. Munmun says, keep growing. And Vinay says, never give up. Look how uniquely you're choosing your own I think USP, own basis. But these will keep evolving and changing. Thank you. Saina, what do you think about it? Is it unique? They all have their own, flagship flag program, right?
They are all thinking so much. They are all
Yeah,
so intense.
that's true.
They're all growing up so fast,
Yeah,
which is good in a way. They're
that's true.
learning, and
Yeah.
which is good in
You've
a
read some very interesting books, all six of you. You've read some very interesting books. Did you, I think, what was your takeaway from the book? Vinay, the book you read, what was your takeaway from that book? Show that book again. Tell us, what was your key takeaway? Because if you
My
learn and
favorite book.
summarize that book, yeah, carry on.
The top five regrets of time. My favorite book is the top five regrets of time. I got to know that how can we say no to others. I can't say no to others even if I want to. I know we should spend time with our family and friends because there will be a time when we can't spend time with them.
Oh,
That's my
good.
takeaway from Man the book.
Show the book again you read. Have
Ma'am,
you got the
currently
book
the
in
book
hand?
is not available to me.
Acha. Okay. All right. So your takeaway was there is a book called Say No, Say Learn to Say Yes and No. Learn to say no. The title of the book is Learn to Say No. There's a title. There's a book. It came many years ago during the time I was growing up, and I also loved reading it. It's learning to say no. And that's
Yes,
what
sir.
happens when your friends make extra demands on you to say you have to make a choice to please your friends or be with your family. So that's what you're saying. Learn to say no. But learning to say no not only to friends, learning to say no to sometimes making two difficult choices. One is more valuable than the other. So you learn to say no to something equally important, but maybe you're making a choice. Hriday, what was your takeaway from the book you read?
My book was Journey Home, and my takeaway was the book was like it was inspiring because he, even though all the difficulties came to him, he did not surrender to them. He followed what he thought was right, and his devotion eventually led to what he wanted. The My takeaway was to do what you think is right and never give up.
And he was very devoted.
Yes, he was very
Radhanath,
devoted.
Radhanath Swamiji was very devoted to the cause. I think he was probably he was living his a continuity life of as a monk because the way he was inclined towards the Hindu chanting and the Krishna, particularly Krishna consciousness, isn't it?
Yes,
He's a he's a very good gentleman, a very compassionate person. Maybe one day coming home will become a documentary.
yes,
It's a very good look how difficultly with certain challenges, particularly when he was crossing the border, when he was crossing the border in Europe, how
yes.
dangerous it was, and what kind of what how difficult days they spent. But as somebody said, never give up. He never gave up. So reading such books will inspire you to read more, and it's like literally reading, which will set as chapters in your life, and they'll give you habits. Lavshish, what's your takeaway from your book?
Yes, ma'am.
Lavshish.
The book I talked about was The Theory of Everything. It was written by Stephen Hawking, and it was through this book I learned, like, this book gives various learnings, like various theories which passed, like, which told that how the universe existed, how the universe was formed, and there were many other things like black holes and different theories presented in this book. And ma'am, the author itself of the book is so unique. We know Stephen Hawking. He was paralyzed, and he himself is a great inspiration for us that if a person like him can do something great in their life, why can't people like us who are just normal and not like him can also do? So, ma'am, the author is also very inspiring for me.
Excellent. That was it's yes, it's one of the very rare, very special books of Stephen Hawking. There are lots
Yes,
of
ma'am. Thank
movies
you.
and YouTube sessions on the YouTube on him. Maybe now you can keep reading. So Lavish can continue to read about Stephen Hawking. Hriday can go back to read Swami Radhanaji, and Vinay can also similar. You can follow up your authors. That's an echo in the. Is the echo okay? Okay. Saina,
अभी
technologically
ठीक है
it's okay.
मम्मी
Abhi theek
अभी
hai.
ठीक है
Okay, Munmun. Munmun, you. What was your takeaway from the book you read?
Ma'am, I read the book Read by Angela Duckworth, and that book I actually understood one thing, that is, talent doesn't matter. What matters is your hard work. I mean, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That means if I think I can do it, if I think that I am this person, I can be that. I mean, it doesn't matter I have talent or not. Like, my present doesn't define my future, but my understanding, my hard work defines my future. I think this is what I learned from that book.
Yes, Munmun, it's aptitude and attitude. If your attitude is to pick up your aptitude, you will pick it up. But if your aptitude, but you don't have the attitude of never say die or determination, that's an attitude. What is an attitude? Attitude is a bundle of very good habits. You naturally say yes to certain things. That's your attitude. Your attitude is positive. It's not negative. Your attitude say, ah, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Not no, I can't. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Good.
ma'am.
Munmun, our object was why did we initiate you to read a book? Is in fact, if you all make a habit of keeping a book in your hand and certainly complete it one book minimum a month, something which is other than your subjects, you will grow up to become very knowledgeable and very, very uniquely in the social in your companies, in the social companies you have. But you'll have extra knowledge, you'll have ideas, you'll have creativity, you'll have critical thinking. Okay, Aryan, what about you? What was your takeaway from your book?
Ma'am, this is my favorite book. If you can see over here, Sita, Warrior of Mithila, ma'am. Over here, it
Yeah.
talks about Sita's character from her childhood to her later life, and it's a very inspiring book for me. I was really fascinated by the way how the author has brought all characters in this. It tells us to follow our own concise. You believe in yourself. If you trust your abilities, you'll achieve what you want. Moreover, it tells you how to take decisive actions in a particular situation because that is a key attribute of a true leader, ma'am.
Yeah. There's a very interesting another book written on Sita by Shri Banu Didi. That's Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji's sister, Bhanumati. Banu Didi. She's written also on Sita. You must read that. And it's Sita. It's a great, another wonderful narration on Sita. Another recently book, we had her also as a special guest on our Batchit program. Both Maharaji of ISKCON and you, Banu Didi, both were our Batchit very special guests. And we heard her speak about the book. So you can go pick up another book and see the similarities. Yes, Aryan?
Yes, ma'am. I'll read it, ma'am.
Excellent. Okay, Saina, can we go to the questions now? What would you like to do?
Do you want to hear their unsung heroes?
I'll be happy to. We can have a round of unsung heroes, then we'll go to the next stage. Vinay,
जी
begin with your unsung heroes.
नहीं, अभी ठीक है.
And my unsung hero is Rani Chennamma. She was born on she was born in the state of Karnataka in a small town named Katkati in 1778. From a young age, she received training in sword fighting, archery, and horse riding. But at the age of 15, she was married to the king of the Kutkitur named Malaji Desai and have one son. But unfortunately, her husband was dead, and later on, her son was also dead in 1816. And British were eager to conquer their state under the doctrine of lapse. According to the doctrine of lapse, any ruler who died without a male heir would his kingdom would automatically will be under the British Empire. But Rani Chennamma was not eager to do so. So she wrote a letter to the Lieutenant Governor of Bombay requesting that she should that, that they should accept the new hire which she adopted named Shivalingapai. But they refused. They wanted to conquer that territory at any cost. So they started a war. In the first war, Rani Chennamma fought bravely, and she was supported by local villagers.
What was
And
your
she killed
takeaway
hundreds
from the
of.
story? Vinay,
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
us what's your emotional takeaway from this reading of this unsung hero? What's your emotional? What moved you? What impacted
Ma'am,
you?
I was inspired because of his courageousness and bravery. Many rulers at that time gave their kingdoms to British without fighting, but she refused to do so. She didn't look away, seeing the mighty army of the British, but she fight with her courage, bravery, expertise.
You see, the object of your reading unsung heroes or unearthing unsung heroes is to link you with the past, glorious, brave past of our freedom movement. And
Yes,
you're all
ma'am.
heading towards now, 25 years from now, you shall all celebrate 100 years of Indian independence. And you will only be 15 plus 25. You'll be 45. You'll only be 45 years old. Then you'll be celebrating 100 years of Indian independence. So start looking at yourself when you will be 45, what 45, what will India be? And that's this freedom movement which you are studying today. I think you will remember this session when you will be 40 years old. You remember this,
Yes, sir.
and remember the picture, remember the scene. I think you will all get a screenshot of this session, and when you will be 2047, you will remember this day that I talked about this unsung hero, Rani Chinmay, right? Remember this, it's a
Yes, sir.
glorious historical event for all of you. Okay, Hriday, what about you? I'm making you conscious of the fact that you are only 25 years from glorious 100 years of India. Indian independence, not India, Indian independence. Okay, Hriday, you will be 14 plus 25. So you'll be 1 year, you'll be younger, 1 year younger. Okay, go. Hriday?
My unsung hero is Kaumudi teacher. One day, when Gandhiji was addressing a meeting at Kerala, he talked about the welfare fund he was collecting or for the Harijan cause. Once he was finished, people came to donate whatever jewelry or money they had. But suddenly, a girl of age 16 or 17 years old came up on stage and gave her two golden bangles, the only two golden bangles on her wrists. Gandhiji was more than satisfied, but not her. She outcame her beautiful necklace and her earrings. Gandhiji was touched at her donation. In return, the girl only asked for his autograph, but Gandhiji, of course, gave her more. This girl was none other than Kaumudi teacher. Kaumudi teacher, after this incident, vowed never to wear any jewelry and also promoted the use of khadi. She also was the first teacher to teach Hindi in Kerala,
How
Malabar.
nice. How lovely. How did you choose her?
I was saying for someone who was like unique. There are so many people who always talk about their bravery, but nobody talks about standing up for the greater good. That's why I got inspired and I chose her.
Good, Hriday. What will you be when you grow up?
I wanted, actually, it's not fully decided, but if I were to be a person, I would have been a lawyer.
Ah, so you have in mind work, social work, because lawyer is a lot of community giving. Because when you fight and speak up for justice, good, you chose a very lovely, unique person who was a giver. I think it's a more of a mental bravery. It's a lot of mental resolution, resilience, and resolution to be giving away last bit you have for a cause. Very
Yes,
nice with
ma'am.
it. Lavish,
Thank
what's your who's your unsung hero?
Yes, ma'am. My unsung hero is Kartar Singh Sarabha, and he was one of the youngest Indian freedom fighter who sacrificed his life for his nation. He was just 19 years old when he sacrificed his life. So he was born in the Sarabha village of Punjab to a very wealthy and prosperous family, and he was raised by his grandfather because after his father died at an early age. So after completing his ninth standard, he went to Odisha to his uncle for his 10th standard, and at that point of time, he saw that there were struggles for independence growing and nationalism, the sense of nationalism was arriving in Odisha and regions of Bengal at that point of time. So he started reading newspapers and realized that the British rule was so oppressive and brutal for the Indians. And he had then thought that he had to somehow throw the British out of India and want and may unite India to struggle against Britishers. So, for that, he joined a very important association named the Hind Association of Pacific Coast. But due to his small age, he could not get a higher post. But later, when the newspaper of that association was published and this party was renamed to Gadar Party, he decided he became an active member distributing the newspapers of this Gadar Party, and he used to write many inspirational poems and quotes and inspire people by distributing newspapers. And a turning point then later came to his life, which ultimately led to his execution in 1915. The Gadar Party had decided to launch a Gadar movement against the Britishers. Under this movement, they had decided that they would attack on the police stations of Britishers and they would collect the weapons from there, and after that they would fight. So what they did was, so this movement had to start from Meerut, Firozpur, and in a region of Lahore. But before this moment could start, one of the members of Gadar party informed the Britishers about this, all their plans, about their hiding spots, about their whole roadmap, etc. So the Gadar party could not do anything, but they still decided to relaunch the movement 2 days before. But this also, the person who the name
What
was
was your
Kirpal Singh, who
takeaway from
informed the
this?
British. Yes, ma'am.
What was your takeaway from this?
Yes, ma'am. So my takeaway was that we should be very brave, because when he was being executed, he was being hanged. He said that please hang me quickly so that I can reborn as a struggler, and I can reborn and again fight and struggle for my nation, to free my nation.
Wow.
So his patriotism and his bravery and his confidence all inspired me.
So now you understand the the pillars on which the freedom was won.
Yes, ma'am.
You youngsters need to
Even
remember that.
Bhagat Singh, yes, even Bhagat Singh found him to be his guru or friend. He used to keep a photograph of him in his pocket always.
Hmm. That was the inspiration he had. Like you all, there's an echo.
Yes, sir.
I don't know where this echo is coming from. Okay. All right. So, Lavish, thank you so much for remembering this. Now, when you will be 16 plus 25, you'll be 41. When you will be celebrating 25 years of Indian independence, 100 years of Indian independence, isn't it? And you'll remember this day
Yes.
when you talked about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Munmun, your turn. Who is your unsung hero?
Ma'am,
Munmun, your turn.
yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, my unsung hero is Beena Dash, who is called the Tigress of Bengal. Her parents were freedom strugglers and socialists. So when she was growing up, she saw her father to be a teacher. And fortunately, her father was none other than Beni Madhav Dash. That means he was the teacher of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So there was no doubt that she would later on become a freedom fighter as well. So I would like to share a very interesting incident of her life when she was of my age. I mean, she was in 10th standard at that time. So what happened? One book called Pothe Dabi, written by Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay, was published at that time, and it was written about freedom struggle. So obviously, British government banned that book, but Beena Dash got one copy of that, and she was reading that book day and night. And the very next day, she had her English test, and don't know how, but in her English test, one question came where she had to talk about one favorite novels of her. So she was reading that novel, so obviously she would write that. So she wrote about that novel, but her English teacher was obviously a Britisher, so she did not like that she was talking about that freedom struggle based novel. So she got less marks in the English test. And later on, about this incident, she said that I'm not feeling bad that I got less marks in the test, but I'm proud because I offered those marks to my country. And ma'am, I think this is what I learned. Like she was of my age when this happened. I'm also studying in class 10. And what I learned from her is this: I always need to be truthful and bold no matter what happens, no matter what the situation is.
Very good, Munbun. Very well done. Very well done. I like it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Remembering incidents, brave incidents, like Hridaya also explained an incident when that young girl went to Mahatma Gandhi and gave everything she had. These are wonderful. Like Lavish, all of you are giving wonderful incidents. I think incidents from such life will always remain as stories for you. So we are all picking up incidents which we remember as stories. When you write your essays as you grow up, you will all be writing your essays, taking examinations. You will be able to recall them. Okay, Aryan, who's your unsung hero?
My unsung hero is Narayan Meghaji Lokhande. We all love Sunday. We eagerly wait for this one day after working for a long week. But have you ever wondered why Sunday is considered as a holiday in India? The credit goes to Narayan Meghaji Lokhandi. It is his 10 years of struggle. Because of that, we are celebrating and enjoying Sunday as a holiday in India today. During British Raj, the week neither started on Sunday nor Monday. So you could consider the week starting or ending from any of these days. Hence, workers had to work for all 7 days, and there was no arrangement for any kind of weekly off. On the other hand, the British officials would go to church every Sunday, while there was no such tradition for the Indian workers. So Narayan Meghaji Lokhandi was the union leader of these workers. He proposed to the British government, after working for 6 days, at least one day should be given so that these workers could devote that one day for their country and society. Moreover, Sunday is the day of the Hindu god Khandoba. Unfortunately, his proposal was rejected by the British government. But he did not lose hope. He made a union of all workers and protested against the oppression of the British government. In 1881, through the Bombay Hand Association, he demanded few changes in the Factories Act. Number one, Sunday should be given as a holiday in India. Number two, the working hours should be fixed. Number three, the salaries of the workers should be given by 15th of every month. And number four, in case of an accident or injury, the dependents of his family should get pension. This movement was so big that around 10,000 workers from all over India gathered at the race course ground in Bombay. Many of the people were arrested and kept in prison. Finally, on 10 June 1890, British government declared Sunday as the holiday in India. Moreover, half an hour of break is given to every worker so that they can take rest. And we call this break as lunch break today, ma'am.
How lovely. Aryan, how did you find him?
Ma'am, actually, I was curious to know why Sunday is a holiday in India. What is the main reason behind it? So I came to know about this person, Narayan Lokhande. He's also from my state. There are certain qualities he had which I want to inculcate in myself. He did not lose hope in this adverse situation, ma'am. He worked for the welfare of his people. His leadership quality is really appreciable as he was able to organize people from different parts of India and they reached their common goal. And because of their efforts, their sacrifice, they are able to enjoy Sunday as a holiday today. So I'm really inspired by this person.
How lovely. And not only the children, we all do it. We all get a Sunday. School is closed on Sunday. We all get a Sunday. It's very nice. How lovely. You see how we're learning
Yes,
from each other? How lovely one book is read, one unsung hero is found out, but actually you are taking away six messages, six books, six messages, because each one is contributing to this group. Aryan, what would you like to be when you grow up? What's your plan? What comes to your mind? What would you like to do to earn a living for yourself?
ma'am, I'm planning to do mechanical engineering in future. I want to work in ISRO as a scientist and I want to do something for my country, ma'am.
Lovely, lovely, great, lovely, good boys. Now, Dia, what's yours unsung hero? Dia,
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my unsung hero is Maharaja Surajmal. He settled up a new Jat Samraj in Bharatpur, Rajasthan. It is the one of the Jat Samraj of Mewar in all over India. When even Britishers fired up on our Ajay Dur, but did not. Uh, uh, they did not pass out in her fire or and that's it.
okay, no problem. तो तुमने कैसे ढूंढा इनको? How did you find him?
मैम क्या
How did you search him?
मैम my father told her story since childhood
Good, good. So your father
about
helped you.
and her Ajay
Rajasthan is
and
full of very royal
also
history.
living so there is a fort in the Bharatpur of Maharaja Surajmal also.
Hmm. But But Bharatpur is known for its bird sanctuary. Is the same place?
क्या?
Is this Bharatpur the same place which is known for bird sanctuary?
Yes, ma'am. Kevladev Bird Sanctuary here
Yes.
is,
Have you been
and
there?
bird sanctuary in the Bharatpur, one of the bird sanctuary in India,
Yeah.
and many of birds from other country come from other countries in Bharatpur for females and male also for born their babies and eggs.
So when you grow up, what would you like to, how do you see yourself? What profession would you think you'll follow? What is your dream?
Um, I want to be an IPS like you, and as a strict IPS also. And after that, I become and also IAS. Also, I like to pass the UPSC. Yes,
You'll
ma'am.
all be in professions when you are celebrating 100 years of independence. You'll all be in good professions. You remember, you must start dreaming of this 100 years. And what would India like to be? What kind of India you like to see 25 years from now? If you start dreaming now, you'll build it towards that. Then you align yourself in that direction. Now, if Dia wants to be an IPS officer, then you will already be at the top of the Indian police service or in the administrative services. As you grow up, you will be right at the top and working it through. So it's not very far from you. All of you are just about 5-7 years away from your professions. Just 5-7 years, not much. That's not much of a time. So be careful with what you read intensively, your books, your school books, your teachers, your college. Be very precious. Every day is very precious. It's a building block for all of you. Every day is a building block. Every day you acquire is another layer in your knowledge, your books, because everything's new for you right now. You see, for us, when we read, sometimes it's not fresh. We've already read before. But in your age, in your case, whatever you're reading is fresh. That's why you like it. That's why it stays with you, because it's fresh, it's new, it's made a groove by itself. That's what the software is about, the mind software. Understand? Okay, now let's go to your questions. And then we'll have about a round of our questions. And then we leave last 3 minutes for Saina to do a little wrap up. Okay, Vinay, what's your question?
And nationalism is not only the feeling of paying tribute to our leaders, but it also means to accept our culture, heritage, and conserve our natural resources. But we see now today's generation is exploiting natural resources and moving to Western culture and forgetting about our own rich culture heritage. What do you think about it?
Yes, nationalism is about national responsibility. As a citizen of a nation, you feel responsible for all that you do, all that you consume, isn't it? So nationalism is being, and certainly it's culture. It's culture. It's knowing your culture, being proud of your culture, being proud of your heritage. It's civilizational heritage, which means that you also read some of your inherited spiritual books, so that you see. And India has a very, very rich spiritual heritage. In fact, most of the Upanishads and the Vedas which are there are exactly the foundation of all self-help, most of the self-help books in the world today. They're actually going back to the roots, which our Vedas said it, our Upanishads said it long, long centuries ago. So they're going back. That's heritage. So if these are not part of your course books, find the time to read them. Go back to Wikipedias. Go back to YouTubes. Today, the YouTubes give you everything at the press of a button. Earlier, we had to go and search a book. Now you can go to Google, you can go to Wikipedia, you can go to YouTube's, and you can see so much available for you as a quick, culled out reading. It's like researched reading. So, Vinay, that's what you can do. So, yes, nationalism is knowing your country well, knowing your understanding your nation, and being a part of the nation by responsible citizenship and knowing your heritage. Go and see lots of science, light and science show. When you travel around the country, tell your parents to take you or your school to go to light and sound and light shows. They give history. They give history in such a capsule. I believe Red Fort has been refurbished. If those of you in Delhi, you since you're in New Delhi, go and visit the Red Fort again. I think they've they've freshened up the Mughal history. Go and see it. Okay, Vinay? It'll make you make you known about the your heritage. Hriday, what's your question?
As a citizen of India, I am aware of the individual who experience injustice, but they are unable to seek a redressal in court, allowing them to a lack of funds, or they are terrified of the aggressor because the latter is superior position. What might be the remedy?
So it's coming from your vision ahead to be a lawyer.
Yes,
You
please.
already thinking. Well, as a lawyer, you can uh, help the person get redressal and justice. But I know justice is very expensive. Lawyers are very expensive, and it has a service because that's your service. That's the only way you earn is when you get money from your fee from your client. So, but the question is, even when the client gives you money, when you do justice to the case, you are getting justice done, right? Number two, there is a free legal aid organization, as you know, that there is a national legal aid authority, free legal aid authority, and people who cannot pay lawyers, they can seek a free legal aid. But do they know? Do they know where to go? Because the courts engage lawyers for free legal aid and they pay case wise to them. So there are many lawyers who are reaching out to serve in free legal aid. Maybe if all lawyers think about corporate social responsibility for themselves and pick up one case free per month, it'll make a lot of difference, isn't it? So I think
Yes, ma'am.
where we only looking for corporates to do free legal aid service, why not the lawyers too, as a service? So, but one and many lawyers I'm aware are doing this, where they are picking up genuine cases for gratis. It's gratis, but also making people aware of the free legal aid available, and then make sure that the free legal aid authority and the lawyers who are giving free legal aid on directions of the as an engagement with the courts is they do provide the right kind of service. Lok adalats are exactly for that. You know, many lok adalats, the Bijli adalats and the lok adalats, the property adalats, many the courts keep organizing these lok adalats. So people should be aware to go to these lok adalats. Okay, that all right. Let's go to Lavdish. Lavdish.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, actually, I want to take a suggestion from you regarding my weakness. Like, I think that whenever I study something related to science or mathematics, I go in such a detail and depth. And I know that thinking technically and thinking in depth is good, but sometimes it leads to a lot of confusion in my mind, and it leads to such a wastage of time in my days, especially during my exams. So I sometimes feel doubted about myself that, and this sometimes even loses my confidence. So can you just tell me how to deal with this weakness in my life?
Which subject are you talking about? Maths and science?
Yes, like these subjects, technical subjects, like in which we generally need understanding, like mathematics and physics, chemistry, these types of things.
Have you discussed it with your teacher?
No, ma'am. Like actually, everyone says like we should not think so much about something. Like one of my teachers also suggests like जाने दो इतना मत सोचो. Like be नहीं होगा तो क्या हो जाएगा कुछ हो थोड़ा जाएगा. Like they just inspire me with these words. I also so
I need to understand a little more because I
so
don't see
ma'am.
a problem with this subject.
Yes, ma'am. I was saying that, like, I think I do a lot of overthinking about anything, like I do, or I just a subject which I read in like mathematics or science. So, which I know I was saying that I know that even learning and in depth or thinking technically about something is good, but this sometimes leads to a lot of confusion in my mind when I go in such a depth or technicality of something, and it leads to a lot of wastage of time also during my exams. So, I was asking that how to deal with this
Do your
weakness of
schools have
overthinking.
counselors?
Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Do your schools have counselors?
Yes, ma'am.
Do they have
Do
counselors?
they have counselors? Yes, ma'am.
Have you consulted them?
Have you consulted them? Not yet, ma'am.
First, try that.
First try that. Okay, ma'am.
Maybe they will guide
Maybe
you
they
that
will guide you that
where to stop,
where to stop. Okay, ma'am.
because you need to have a in-person discussion.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, try
Okay,
and
try
talk to
and
your
talk
subject
to
tutor
subject
or the school counselor,
or the school counselor. Okay, ma'am.
because it's concerning a
Because it's
subject.
concerning a subject.
When you reach the right
Yes, ma'am. When you
understanding,
reach the
where
right
to move
understanding,
on to
where
something
to
else.
move on to something else. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Munmun. Munmun, your question.
Ma'am, as a spirituality and self-development enthusiast, I want to ask you this question. That is, ma'am, according to you, what is life and how an ideal life should be?
Life is time. Life is energy. Life is given. Did you ask for it? Did you
Yeah,
ask
ma'am,
God, give
because
me
I
life?
want, yeah, because, ma'am, I wanted to know your perspective about life.
That's what I'm giving you as I understand.
Ma'am, I got it.
Life is, we didn't ask. We don't ask. God, give me life. You pray, give me healthy life. Can we ask God that I've had enough? Doctors, please switch me off. Can we?
Yeah, ma'am, can
When
you
we can't.
repeat it again?
Can we ask God to switch off our light, switch off our life?
No, ma'am.
Can we ask God to switch on life?
Ma'am, I think it's not possible.
So it's given. It's given.
Yeah.
What you've given, as long as you've given, your duty is to live that one day, 24 hours. You minus out 8 hours of sleep, you minus out another 2 3 hours of maintenance, food, etc. Basically, half the day you only have 12 hours of the day waking hours, which you can invest into what you can do for the day. So if you plan your 12 hours of the day plan, what can I do with these 12 hours? In that, you do reading, you do your duties, you carry forward your responsibilities, you go to school, you learn, you go to universities, you go to so you have actually energy. So life is energy. How do you use your waking hours of energy? Even sleep is energy. How well you sleep, how well you work the rest of the waking hours is life. And how do
Okay,
you
ma'am.
mentally and physically do all the best you can to make it healthy.
Yeah, ma'am, I got the answer. And ma'am, I
Very good.
today I promise you that you said us to read every month one book. So ma'am, today I promise you, no matter how much school studies I have, no matter what I do, no matter I'm ill or whatever there is, but I promise you, ma'am, that I will read every month at least one book. And whenever I feel demotivated, I will come here and remember that promise that 14-year-old Munmun made this promise, and my 30-year-old self, my 80-year-old self is bound to keep this promise.
Oh, beautiful. We all love you, Munmun. You've got a lovely name
Thank
also. Lovely. Thank you, Munmun.
you, ma'am.
And when you
Thank you.
celebrate 40, 100 years of Indian independence, you'll be a bright woman, a bright young lady who has already been serving the nation by being knowledgeable by the Swami Vivekananda. You can be the Swami, you are from West Bengal. You have the inspiration right there before you. You have the Ramakrishna mission before you. You have Swami Vivekananda guiding you. You got Ma Sharda guiding you. You got Ramakrishna guiding you. You got Sri Aurobindo guiding you. You got Subhash Chandra Bose guiding you. You got such stalwarts in West Bengal. Yeah, you are from the land of total inspiration. You got the Shanti Niketan with you. Yes, lovely. Okay, Aryan, now your question.
My question is that, ma'am, how can we overcome with the various social norms that exist in our society, ma'am? For example, it is customary in India for boys to inherit their family property and for girls to receive dowry. And also, I have observed many people they use their father's name as their last name. They don't use their mother's name, ma'am. So, how can we deal with these problems in our society?
Aryan, it's very simple. These are our own choices. First of all, property laws have been amended in India, and women, girls, daughters have equal rights to the inheritance. So you change certain social norms by law, sometimes
Yes,
by
ma'am.
amendment law, as we did. The Hindu law was amended, giving equal property rights to the daughters. Now daughters have equal rights to inherit father's property. Now comes a social habit. Do we continue? How do we? The court has very ruled everybody has a right to their surname. You want to keep your mother's name, you can. Nothing stops you. So it's a choice women and men make when they get married, or families make. It's not by law. You can add a name, you can keep that name. It's not illegal not to inherit a father's name or not a hen. It's your choice. Many people are doing keeping their own surname. After marriage, many women are maintaining their own surname. These are the choices they make. And there's nothing illegal about it. And in fact, mother's name now has become mandatory in many forms. Registration forms, student forms, mother's name also has to be now written. And it is written. Passports have mother's names as well. So mother's positioning now has becoming fully equal as things go by. It's only a matter of understanding and acceptance. Okay?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right?
Thank you.
Okay. Last question, Dia, and then we got to sign up for a wrap up. Dia, what's your question?
Yes, ma'am. My question is that how will you manage everything in your life? Demonstrative learning, book reading, or that's it?
It's your plan your day the night before. You have every day
What?
24 hours of the day. You have every day 24 hours of the day. You don't have 48 hours. Every day you have 24 hours.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plan your 24 hours? With essential
Ma'am,
sleep to generate energy for the waking hours. How do you plan your day?
yes,
So you plan your day according to the prior. If you have an examination, you will study books first. Then you plan your
yes,
day.
ma'am.
If you don't have an exam, you can plan other things. So you plan. You plan. Life is about 24 hours well planned, one day at a time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes?
ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am, my
Saina?
exams are also coming.
Good. So you plan your day for
Yes,
your exams, and then you plan your day for your holidays. Just plan. It's called something urgent and something important. What is urgent? Attend immediately. What is important? Follow it up.
yes,
But
ma'am.
if you don't also attend important matters, they all become urgent. Remember that. Right? Dear? Saina, would you like to do a wrap up, please?
Okay, ma'am.
I'm sorry, in between I had to leave. My laptop just shut down. And this is Ma's grace, Ma's kripa. I'm back here. It just shut down.
Okay.
Children, two takeaways because it's already 7:03. Two simple takeaways which I have felt hearing all of you. This is one of my also greatest learnings. Faith and fear cannot coexist together. Develop your faith because fear is one of the most crippling emotions. It takes away from your essence, it takes away from who you are, it takes away from your core. Fear is one of the most crippling emotions. Develop your faith. Faith and fear cannot coexist together. And there is no greater power and force than faith. But that also comes from righteous karma. The other aspect of this thought is the purity of your intention. अगर आपकी नियत साफ है, if your intention is clean and clear, then you can develop your faith. And they give you the strength to develop your faith. Faith is also a prasad given, but your need to develop that faith must be very, very strong. And another thought I'm leaving you with, because you've all spoken about it and you're all such intense children. You know, there's a gift that the Almighty has given all of us. There's a beautiful gift the Almighty has given all of us. You know what it is? They allow us to start fresh every moment. They have given us that gift. अगर हमारे मकसद में, सोच में ईमानदारी है, we can start fresh every moment. उनके लिए कोई अच्छा बुरा नहीं है, वो सिर्फ ये चाहते हैं we discover our inner light and we give it our humble best to realize that light that they have put into us. So these are the two little takeaways from my side. Develop your faith. It will empower you.
Thank you, Saina. Thank you very much for what you've given us a beautiful wrap up. And many students were alluding to this. Aryan was talking about personal faith. Actually, when we started, he says, I believe, it's believing in yourself. So all of you contributed to the richness of content, what we could discuss with each other. I'm sure you're going to take away wonderful messages from here. And if we don't meet again, remember you are heading towards 25 years, 100 years of Indian independence. And when you'll be 40 years old, 40 plus, or 1 year less, you'll be probably remembering this day. As young teenagers, what did you do? But as you grow, you'll all be building your nation. Thank you, Vinay, Hriday, Lavish Deep, Munmun, Aryan, and Dia. And thank you, Saina, for wrap up. Bye-bye and Jai Hind.
खुश रहो, सब हंसते खेलते रहो. Lots of love to all of you. जय धारी माँ. मिलेंगे आपको अगले हफ्ते. हमारी ऑडियंसेस का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. अगले हफ्ते मिलेंगे. चिल्ड्रन खूब खुश. Lots of love. जय धारी.